Another Sega classic for us to look at this time on Let's Remember. I say on Let's Remember like it's this established show and not something that like 4 people watch. Welcome. This is Comix Zone. This is a very interesting game. I remember at the time I'd never seen anything like it, although I'd played things like it. It's basically a side-scrolling beat-em-up a la Streets of Rage or Maximum Carnage. Maximum Carnage, by the way, a game that I really like, even though it's not that great. But the idea is that you are a comic book artist named Sketch Turner, because of course you'd be called that, and one of your creations comes to life and tosses you inside your comic book, and you need to fight to survive, or else the villain will somehow, I don't know, become tangible in the real world. But it tosses you into this space, and the design of everything here is just really exciting. I love it. This idea that you've fallen into your own creation, and, you know, this lady here, what's her name? It's like a general. Yep, General Alyssa Cyan, right? All of these comic book type names, and she thinks that you're like the superhero that's supposed to come into this space. And it's just a fun sort of concept of, like, being mistaken for a hero and going into your own creations, and there's something, I suppose, cathartic about this idea of getting to beat up the things that you create. We have a drive, human beings do, to create, but then also sort of to destroy things. And this game, like, I'm not thinking about it too hard, but like if I want to sit down and be like, what's going on here? It's all like, there's some sort of catharsis about an artist being able to go, like, you would love to go into your space and just, like, you know, sometimes you get resentful about what you do, and now it's like, I get to go in and punch the crap out of the stupid comic book guys that I'm making, or whatever. I don't know. That's about as serious as I'll get about Comix Zone. This is a series, remember, it's about experiential play, so it's about thoughts that are just sort of going through my mind and things like that. It's not heavy criticism, it's just, you know, how are we experiencing this game sort of subjectively in the moment. This is annoying, so I have to free the rat, but when I punch, I take chip damage when I'm destroying environmental objects like that, so it's really annoying. This game is fairly hard. You have 1 bar of health, first off, and it doesn't replenish from level to level. When you die, it's game over. You don't have any lives. I'm taking damage just by trying to find a way to progress. It's a hard game, and I've never finished it. You know, so there's so many people right now talking about the value of difficulty in games, and whether or not that's something that matters. You know, people saying, you know, when Bloodborne came out, like, Bloodborne's a game that respects your time and doesn't hold your hand, and that renewed everybody's sort of vague insult meter of being like, well, I don't like this idea of game elitism. Well, I agree, but it's also like, you know, sometimes a game is just hard, and there's not much else to it. Sometimes it's just a hard game. Like this right here, this is bullshit. I fall down and I hit these barrels, which is absolute crap. I take chip damage trying to go to the next screen. Moving from screen to screen is an absolute joy. Fighting enemies is great. I just kicked him through like a comic panel. Like, it's really imaginative and fun stuff, but it is very difficult, and I think it's not difficult in a way that really excites you. It's difficult in a way that fundamentally annoys you. I need to beat up this guy because I need to jump over, because if I fall down that pit, I die. I just straight up die. And the game's over. So it's a really sort of tricky game. And you sort of progress and your superhero meter builds up or whatever. It's just a fun sort of game from a visual standpoint, and I don't think we'll play much longer than, say, 10 minutes or so, but in order to make sure we're okay, you know, we have to punch through this door, and I take all this chip damage, and I have a little health potion there, but I can't really do that. I like having sort of in the moment conversations that happen. I really enjoy the fact that your character isn't just going around the space and not doing much. And oh my gosh, bad guy. So that sucks. Where'd he go? You know, and I like that there's combat dialogue of like, "Aye," and all that stuff. It's really cool. Like, "Oh, you got me." And you have the sound effects of like, "Pow." It's just a really fun sort of concept. Unfortunately, I take a lot of damage moving forward, like I said, so the game, like, it almost punishes progress, which is super annoying. This could be a problem. Oh yeah, so we do that and that's gonna blow up and destroy the fan. Yes, so that's smart. Swinging around from place to place is really fun. Sometimes the panels sort of have names. That one was like aerial assault, and like, I'm not a heavy comic reader by any stretch of the imagination, but when I was a kid and it was time to like go to the beach, you know, obviously you're spending most of your time in the water and enjoying yourself and finding sandbars and all sorts of stuff if you get the chance, but sometimes you just want to sit down on the blanket and read a comic. And so there's a little bit of nostalgia at play here as I move through this space. Not only just nostalgia for, you know, the Genesis, but also a nostalgia where I'm sitting back and thinking about, you know, when I think of comics, I think of the beach, right? So if we want to talk about experiential stuff, it's like, what image does the notion of a comic book evoke in my head? It evokes the idea of a so like that and like that. Cool. Not really a puzzle, but we got that done. I guess my point here is that I think there's stress on certain elements in games, and we never, not never, but I don't think we take enough time to sit back and just think about what a game is making us feel, what a game is sort of doing on a more simple level. So like for me, this is all just bringing back some fun memories, and I'm not necessarily thinking about, even though I'm pointing it out, you know, how unfair the difficulty is or something like that, or how simple the combat is or anything like that. I'm just sitting here sort of playing through an experience and really enjoying it, and I think there's value in that. There's a real drive, and it's something I'm talking about with other people right now, to try and find sort of objective approaches to like either analyzing or critiquing games. And sometimes the best critique for a game is just not necessarily base enjoyment, but something along the lines of, yeah, see, I'm at very low health, so I'm going to use this knife if I can, or I might die. How do I use the item? Oh, I'm going to die. This is the end for Sketch Turner. Oh, how do I do it? Oh, that's game over. I'm trying to think, I'm trying to play. We'll get to see the evil game over. Oh no! All I'm trying to say is that sometimes a game is about what you get out of it, just simply how it makes you feel, how you sit and have fun with it. I have fun with this game. It's a hard game. It's frustrating that I only get so far, but you know, that sort of is what it is. When I play it, certain memories are called back, and I feel, you know, content. I enjoy the process, and I'm not everything needs to be, you know, deeply analyzed or things like that. Sometimes I can just play a game, not necessarily as a toy, but as something that evokes an experience in my mind. And so we're back to the Sega logo and everything, but that was Comix Zone. Very fun throwback to some great stuff from the mid-90s from Sega. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching. I love you all. Bye.